This is the first of 2 rounds of Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fund Finals, each with a purse of $110,000. First up, let's see our First State Bred pacing colts and geldings in action as Beat Cop continued to dominate in his division.
3/4 in 126 and 2. They make their way around the final turn, coming toward the top of the stretch. Papa's Son, Beat Cop on the outside. Cavalli Island's got the rail. Come on, Eddie is fourth, and they're at the top of the stretch, turning her home. And Papa's Son comes off the turn on top. Cavalli Island waits for room, going to get it outside. Beat Cop still coming. They come toward the wire. Beat Cop out in the center track, up after the lead. They come toward the wire. Beat Cop pulls away. It's Beat Cop in front. Papa's Son, Cavalli Island, and Come on, Eddie. 155.
Beat Cop, owned by PT Stable, made a first-up move to win in 155 for trainer Crissy Crissman-Bier. Bred by Gretchen Roland, the son of Dragon King was definitely excited about his win. The freshman was driven to victory by Tim Tetrick, who joined Assistant General Manager Matt Sparacino in the winner's circle for an interview.
Tim, you drove this horse in his first limb on September 25th. He was able to get the job done that night by 2:56. What were your first impressions?
Nice big colt. He didn't like the turns too well, but he's just so big and growthy. But he's got a real something that you can't teach. He's got a winning attitude. He wants to do the right thing. He doesn't want to make mistakes, and makes our job a lot easier.
Coming into the final, obviously a post 6, not the greatest spot in the world, but having won both eliminations as easy as he did you still feel pretty good about your chances?
Oh, no doubt. I really like this colt, and especially in this division. He fits in here really well, and the way the race worked out, I was happy to get the 5 or 6 and have a little angle, get out of there. I knew the inside 2 were going to protect position, and as long as I could set 2 or 3 turns, I thought I could have a really good shot.
This horse has roots from Iowa, which we don't get a lot of horses that come from Iowa over here, but I know you've driven some over the years, and some actually have done pretty well going up through the non-winners classes, depending on how tough the competition is where they're racing, and the non-winners of 1, 2, 4, etc. What's been your experience with the horses that are coming from that circuit?
Well, one of the best horses maybe in the top free-for-all ranks is Jimmy Freight, and he was born and raised in Iowa as a 2-year-old, and he went on to be a multi-Grand Circuit winner horse. So they can come from anywhere. In Iowa, they still got a lot of horse racing there.
And this is one of the first foals, I think the first foal by Dragon King. Do you remember him at all as a horse?
No, I do not, no.
Well, it's been a long time, and I thought you might say that, but you actually drove Dragon King way back in 2008, won with him at Harris, Philadelphia in 52, and I actually drove him a start, I believe, at Dover in the Progress Pace. I had to do some digging to find that out, to refresh your memory.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. I'm glad I did get to win with him, and now I get to see one of his sons win, so it's pretty cool.
You mentioned the growth of this horse. You think a bigger track's only going to help him?
Oh, no doubt. He's a big boy, and the turns, the first part of the turn he's really good is coming out of it. He's got real long legs, and he's just not matured up yet, but big track's going to help him. And come back here next year when he has to race in this division again, he'll hop right around here, but he just didn't know how to pace the turns real good yet.
Well, Tim Tetrick, congratulations. Also, Crissy-Bier, Pat Tortorello, and our first of 4 finals this week in the DSBF. Tim, we'll see you later on.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Now onto some filly pacing action as Slipinsidewayz took home the winner's share in DSBF finals action for 2-year-old ladies.
3/4, 128, around the final turn, a 6 or 7 length lead for Slipinsidewayz. Racing in second, Jet Propelled. On the far outside, that's Curtsy for Persico trying to get around Bella's Dream. They're at the top of the stretch, straightening away, and Slipinsidewayz with the big lead coming through the stretch. Slipinsidewayz. Bella's Dream trying to get second. Jet Propelled still there. They come toward the wire. Slipinsidewayz is shortening stride, but will make it. Slipinsidewayz in front. Jet Propelled tight for third between Nova's Baby Girl and Bella's Dream in 157 and 4.
Slipinsidewayz set off all the teletimers for owner Bryan Truitt Jr. in 157 and 4. Bred by Let It Ride Stables and Bottom Line Racing, the 2-year-old Badlands Hanover filly also scored for the owner's dad, trainer Bryan Truitt, and had Vic Kirby in the driver's seat for this big win.
Vic, she kind of put the field on notice last week with such an impressive win. How confident were you after that performance last week going into the final?
I was pretty confident last week, and it paid off because we've just been bringing her along slowly. all tribute to Bryan, his son BJ, and Sam. And yeah, I knew last week we made a statement. Tonight, I didn't think she was that good, but we had some help with the horse behind us running. We got a little bit of clearance because we weren't real strong finishing.
Last week being her first time on the front end, she really seemed to like it and opened up to win by 9. Was the front end your goal here early tonight, especially with having the outside post and trying to get early position?
Yeah, kind of, because watching these other fillies, nothing against them, but a few of them struggle getting around here, and she doesn't. So I figured if I got out of there clean and could be on the lead, that's where I'd want to be, and that's where we ended up.
It looked like you were going more early, but were you surprised, to be able to get down to the half in moderate fractions in this race? And I'm sure that probably helped your confidence level, knowing you weren't used too hard early.
Yeah, it did, and, I let Alan go, and he let me come back pretty easy, and she was able to get a breather. I really thought up the backside she was going to open up by more, and she got a little weak late, so that'll be something to tend to going into Dover. Check her out health-wise and hope for the best.
We see the red and green colors, Vic Kirby, red and green colors of Bryan Truitt team up with a lot of wins over the years. Tell us about your relationship with Bryan.
He's been loyal to me for probably going on about 10, 12 years now. And you said a lot of wins. Neither of us are getting a lot of wins anymore, but we made this one count.
Well, Vic Kirby, congratulations. He's also approaching his 5,000th career win. Congratulations, along with Team Truitt here, with Slipinsidewayz in the Pacing Filly Final.
Thanks, Matt.
Next up, let's see our freshman colt and gelding trotters with LG's Jackson, taking home the winner's share in his rich Delaware bred final.
They make their way by 3/4, 132 and 2/5 into that final turn. LG's Jackson, a 2-length lead over LG's Bluestone. On the outside, Portnoy with the rail, that's Pulsator. They come toward the top of the stretch, ready to turn for home, and LG's Jackson comes off the turn, leading by 1.5 lengths. LG's Bluestone, Portnoy coming on the outside, coming through the stretch. Portnoy out in the center of the track after LG's Jackson. They come toward the wire. Portnoy from the outside with LG's Jackson. LG's Jackson does it. Portnoy, LG's Bluestone, and Pulsator. 2 and 2.
LG's Jackson trotted on the front from gate to wire for owner-breeder Nanacoke Racing and held on to win in 202 and 2. The young son of Rolls Blue Chip was the favorite in the race, trained by Les Givens, and had the driving services of Jim Morand.
All right, Jim, tell us about that race. How did that unfold for you?
Well, when they drew it, the other horse, Les, had the 2-hole, we had the 4-hole, and they looked like they both raced real good last time, and I figured we should get away good, but you never know in these big races, and
yeah.
We ended up getting away good, and the horse they beat last week, he was sitting in my back, and he made a break past the half, and mine felt pretty good there on the front, and he held on.
So you the regular driver of this horse?
I qualified him, raced him a couple times for Les, and
And what's he like to drive?
He's a nice horse to drive. I mean, he's really, I qualified him, and I drove him a few times, and he's learning more every time he goes out.
Excellent.
It was a good time to learn tonight.
Talk about your relationship with Les Givens a little bit. It seems like you've been driving with him for a while now.
Yeah, I've owned horses with Les for a long time, and I've been driving for him for a long time, and we've had some luck in the stakes once in a while, and it's all worked out.
Finally, we'll check out the Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fund trotting fillies, and it was Going Platinum, crossing the wire first in her division.
3/4 went in 132 and 2 into the far turn. It's the Berg. Going Platinum races second. A big gap back to Platinum Proposal. Ripaway's in the fourth, dropping out of it. Wolfpack Wilma. Into fifth comes Lovey's Place. They're at the top of the stretch now, turning for home. And Going Platinum has gone up on the outside to go after the Berg coming through the stretch. Going Platinum on the outside goes by the Berg coming toward the wire. Going Platinum and Corey Callahan draw off, win the $110,000 final. The Berg, Platinum Proposal, and Ripaway. 202 and 2.
Going Platinum won by 4 lengths for her owner, Breakaway Racing. Bred by Sean Callahan, this freshman daughter of EL Platinum paid $34.20 to win. The filly is trained by Sean's dad, Nick Callahan, and in the driver's seat for the 202 and 2 victory was another of Nick's sons, Corey Callahan.
Tell us about your thoughts going into the race from post 7 here with Going Platinum.
Yeah, my my dad, my mom, my brother, they were like, oh, geez, we drew post 7. But, you know, I said, well, that's not really going to matter too much to us. I wanted to be in a spot really where I could be first up. I really thought kind of Cody and, you know, Pat would have to battle a little bit early to try to figure it out. And I was hoping I could fall in there third and just be first up. This filly's got a lot of go. I've really ended up in bad spots the last 2 weeks. I ended up in the 2-hole, and you wouldn't really think that was a bad spot, but she gets like really anxious and wants to race. So, you know, the first week against DeBerg, I actually moved her out like going into the last turn and, you know, gave her a good run. You know, so I thought if I could get close enough to her, I could give her a good shot, and it worked out perfect tonight.
Her sire is EL Platinum. This is the first crop, I believe, for EL Platinum, who's had a strong presence in the Breeders' Fund this year. You actually drove EL Platinum. I believe it was a Muscle Hill, I think the first Muscle Hill offspring to be in the DSBF program, and has had a popular response. Tell us about your recollection of EL Platinum.
Yeah, I think I'd only driven him. I qualified him for Bob Stewart once and drove him once. You know, and then I know he wanted Meadowlands in like 53, and something happened to him, and Sonia Booth actually ended up with the horse, and, you know, she had said something to me about bringing him to Delaware, and I said, please do. I mean, you can't find blood like this. He's a Muscle Hill out of a full sister to Cantab, so he's got, you know, big-time blood, and it was something that Delaware really needed. You know, so I touted him pretty heavily when he first came, and it turns out I'm right so far.
Well, Corey, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on a heck of a week here so far. Going Platinum, springs an upset in the Philly Trotting Final. Corey, best of luck the rest of the card.
All right, thank you very much.
A big overall congratulations goes out to our freshman Delaware Standardbred Breeders' Fund final winners.